The hypocrisy couldn't be clearer. When it comes to Kate's interaction with influential figures, the press treats her with kid gloves. Now let's delve into this. We're all familiar with the media circus that surrounds the Duchess of Cambridge, better known as Kate. She's a public figure, a royal, and a constant presence in the press. But have you ever noticed how the media tiptoes around her? How they handle her with the utmost care, as if she were made of the finest porcelain? This phenomenon is especially noticeable when we compare the media's treatment of Kate to that of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. It's no secret that Meghan has been the target of more than her fair share of criticism. Yet when it comes to Kate, the press seems to operate on a different set of rules. Take, for example, Kate's encounters with influential figures. No matter who she meets or what she does, the media never fails to paint her in a positive light. It's as if she can do no wrong. But when Meghan finds herself in similar situations, she's held to a different, harsher standard. Remember when Meghan was expected to openly criticise influential figures? The press practically demanded it. Yet when Kate remains silent on the same issues, the media doesn't bat an eye. It's a glaring inconsistency that has significant implications for Meghan. This double standard doesn't just affect Meghan's public image, it impacts her personal life as well. She's under constant pressure to meet the media's unrealistic expectations, while also dealing with the constant scrutiny and criticism that comes with being a public figure. It's a burden that Kate, with her preferential treatment, doesn't have to bear. In essence, the press has created a lose-lose situation for Meghan. If she speaks out, she's criticised. If she remains silent, she's criticised. It's a no-win scenario that's not only unfair, but also deeply harmful. This double standard is impossible to ignore, and until it's addressed, it will continue to perpetuate a system that unfairly targets Meghan while shielding Kate from the same level of scrutiny. Remember when Meghan spoke with Emily Chang? She was expected to take down Trump, condemn him, and speak out against everything he stood for. Now let's unpack that for a moment. Meghan, a prominent figure and a woman of colour, was expected to use her platform to attack a political figure. Not to mention one with a significant following and a notorious reputation for retaliation. Even though she is a public figure, she is also a human being with her own set of beliefs, fears and responsibilities. She was thrown into the deep end, the world watching, ready to pounce at her every word. Would she take the bait? Would she use her platform to express her political views? One might argue that she has a responsibility to use her voice for good, but who defines what good is, and at what cost? When Meghan chose to stay silent, the backlash was swift and harsh. She was accused of being weak, of shying away from controversy, of not using her platform responsibly. But let's pause and think about it. Isn't it a bit unreasonable to expect her to bear the brunt of a political feud? Isn't it unfair to demand that she jeopardise her safety and the safety of her family? The expectations placed on Meghan were not just unreasonable, they were downright dangerous. By not speaking out against Trump, she was not condoning his actions or beliefs. She was simply choosing to prioritise her safety and the safety of her family, something that any of us would do given the circumstances. When she didn't meet these expectations, the criticism came in full force. It was a lose-lose situation for her. Speak out and risk retaliation, or stay silent and face the wrath of the public. It's a stark reminder of the double standards and the extreme scrutiny public figures, especially women of colour, face every day. But now, when it's Kate, silence, excuses, baby gloves, that's what we're dealing with. The stark contrast between the treatment of Kate and Meghan is as clear as day. The silence around Kate, the excuses made for her, they're all part of a larger narrative that paints her as the innocent one, the one exempt from criticism. Now let's delve into the silence that surrounds Kate like a protective bubble, the silence that shields her from the harsh scrutiny Meghan faces on a daily basis. This silence isn't just about the absence of noise, it's about the absence of accountability, the absence of the same expectations that were thrust upon Meghan. The silence is a symbol of the privilege Kate enjoys, a privilege that Meghan, despite her royal status, is denied. And then come the excuses. Oh, the excuses. When Kate doesn't speak out, she's being diplomatic. When she doesn't condemn, she's being royal. But when Meghan does the same, she's being evasive, she's being non-committal. The narrative is twisted, the story is bent out of shape to fit this double standard, and the baby gloves. Kate is treated with kid gloves, while Meghan is thrown to the wolves. The media, the public, the establishment, they're all careful with Kate, protective of her. They tread lightly around her, making sure not to unsettle or provoke. But Meghan, she's fair game. No baby gloves for her, only bare knuckles. The implications of this silence, these excuses, these baby gloves, they're far-reaching. They reinforce the biases, the prejudices, and the double standards that exist not just in the royal sphere, but in our society as a whole. They tell a tale of two women, one protected, one exposed, one silent, one expected to roar. That's the double standard, and it's impossible to ignore. This isn't just about Kate and Meghan. This is about every woman, every person who has been judged not by their actions, but by the colour of their skin, their background, or their status. It's a narrative that needs to change, and it starts with acknowledging the silence around Kate. The truth is, Meghan doesn't owe anyone her political voice. In an era of constant scrutiny and instant access, every word uttered by a public figure like Meghan can echo across continents, becoming a battle cry for some and a target for others. In the face of this, Meghan's silence is her shield, her sanctuary, her choice. Imagine for a moment the potential dangers Meghan could face if she openly spoke against political figures. The world has seen powerful men in media, figures like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, who have been targeted and threatened for expressing their views. In their cases, their fame and privilege did not protect them. In fact, it made them more visible, more vulnerable. Now consider Meghan's position. She's a woman of colour, a former actress and a member of the British royal family. Each of these aspects of her identity come with their own set of expectations, judgments and potential dangers. Her every move, every word, every silence is analysed, critiqued and often twisted to fit a narrative. If these powerful men with their resources and platforms can be targeted for their political views, imagine the risks Meghan would face if she openly waded into politics against someone like Trump. She would not just be risking her own safety, but also that of her family. And let's not forget, Meghan is not just a public figure. She's a mother, a wife, a daughter. She has a family to protect, from the media, from the establishment, and yes, from powerful figures who may not take kindly to her views. So, Meghan's silence is not just a personal choice. It's a strategic decision, a protective measure, a necessary shield in a world that is all too ready to attack. Imagine the risks for Meghan if she openly waded into politics against Trump. So Meghan can stay silent for the rest of her life if she chooses, and she'd still be justified. Let's dive into the reality of the situation. It's a harsh world out there, one that is far from fair. Meghan Sussex, a woman of strength, poise and grace, has been subjected to a level of scrutiny that is not only harsh, but also unjustifiably biased. Now let's juxtapose this with the treatment of Kate. It's as though she's ensconced in a bubble, sheltered from the harsh winds of criticism and judgment. This is not to say that Kate isn't deserving of respect or kindness, but the stark disparity in their treatment is a glaring testament to the blatant double standards at play. The bias is palpable, the hypocrisy glaring. It's as though Meghan's every move is under a microscope, while Kate's actions are viewed through rose-tinted glasses. This isn't a call to start scrutinising Kate with the same harshness. No, it's a plea for fairness, for equal treatment, for the same baby gloves to be worn when handling both women. And yet, despite all this, Meghan remains dignified. She doesn't owe anyone her political voice, her opinions, or her condemnation. She's a woman with a family to protect, a life to live, and a world to navigate, a world that is, unfortunately, filled with bias and double standards. And if she chooses to remain silent, to not engage in the political narrative or to voice an opinion, she's more than justified. Why? Because her silence speaks volumes. It's a poignant testament to the glaring double standards that plague our society. Her silence is a mirror, reflecting the hypocrisy of those who demand her voice yet remain deaf to their own biased treatment. So yes, Meghan doesn't need to say a single word, because the double standards already speak louder than anything else. Her silence is not just a response, it's a powerful statement. And in that silence, she's not only protecting herself and her family, but also highlighting the glaring hypocrisy of the situation.